Have you ever woken up with the weight of yesterday still pressing down on your chest? Before your feet even touch the floor, the noise of the world barges in. Messages, worries, unfinished conversations. It feels less like a morning and more like a battlefield. And you haven't even drawn your first breath with intention. The Stoics understood this all too well. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each dawn that simply rising was a privilege. To breathe, to think, to love, it was never guaranteed. And yet here we are, so quick to forget. We reach for the phone, we let chaos choose the mood of our day, and in doing so, we surrender the very thing that could steady us, our mind. Think about it. Those first fragile seconds after waking are like wet clay. Whatever shape you press into them will harden and follow you into the hours ahead. Feed yourself panic, and you'll carry panic. Feed yourself clarity, and you'll move with clarity. The choice is small, but its consequences echo. This isn't about rituals that look good on paper. It's about anchoring yourself before the storm of the day begins. It's about planting words so steady that even when life tries to shake you, they hold. 5 truths, 5 simple sentences to speak into the silence of your own morning. Not grand speeches, not lofty affirmations, just reminders sharp enough to cut through the fog and bring you back to what matters. If you've ever felt tired of waking up already behind, if you've ever longed for a morning that feels like yours again, stay with me. What I'm about to share may seem simple, but practiced daily, it has the power to shift not just your mornings, but the way you live your entire life. As we step into the first chapter of this journey, let me take you to a moment you know well. The room is still dark. The alarm has not yet spoken. You open your eyes, and for a split second, the world is untouched. No messages, no deadlines, no demands, just the simple miracle of breath moving in and out of your chest. Now pause with me here. How often do you overlook this instant? We rush so quickly into the storm, scrolling, worrying, planning, that we trample over the most sacred truth of all. You are alive. You didn't earn that breath. You weren't promised this morning. And yet it's here. It's yours. That is not a trivial thing. That is power. That is grace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each dawn, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. He didn't write those words to sound poetic. He wrote them to survive. Because even an emperor, with armies at his command, knew that without gratitude, the mind is unguarded. The world will seize it, fill it with chaos, and turn you into a slave before you've taken your first sip of water. Now imagine this. A man wakes and instantly grabs his phone. Notifications flood his mind like a swarm of bees. News headlines, unfinished conversations, the echo of yesterday's failures. By the time his feet touch the floor, his day is no longer his own. Contrast that with another man who wakes, sits still for a moment, places his hand on his chest and whispers, "I am grateful to be here." The difference is invisible to the world, but enormous to the soul. One begins in chains, the other begins free. Gratitude is not decoration, it is discipline. It is the act of anchoring your mind before the tide of obligations sweeps it away. When you say, "I'm grateful to be here," you are not pretending life is perfect. You are acknowledging that life is present. You are still in the game. You still have a chance to evolve, to mend broken bonds, to risk what you've always feared, to speak a truth you've hidden. Gratitude reminds you, as long as breath remains, possibility remains. Seneca once warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Gratitude makes you stingy with your time in the best possible way. It sharpens your awareness. It tells your brain, I don't need every answer to be okay. I don't need the world's approval to feel aligned. In that clarity, something remarkable happens. You become resilient. Anxiety loses its claws. Entitlement dissolves. You stop measuring your life in what's missing and begin measuring it in what is here. Let me share a story. A close friend once told me about the morning after a car accident that nearly ended his life. He woke in the hospital, battered but breathing. For the first time in years, he cried, not from pain, but from recognition. He realized how many mornings he had wasted on complaints, on comparisons, on chasing things that never filled him. From that day forward, every morning began with the same words. I'm grateful to be here. It didn't erase his struggles. It reframed them. He carried a strength that others could feel, but could not explain. Psychologists now echo what the Stoics already knew. Studies from Harvard and Berkeley reveal that daily gratitude reshapes the brain, lowering stress, improving sleep, even strengthening the immune system. Not because life grows easier, but because attention shifts. Where others see problems, the grateful see chances. Where others rush, they pause, and in that pause, they regain control. Plato once said, "A grateful mind is a great mind which eventually attracts to itself great things." That is not mystical wish-making. It is cause and effect. Gratitude recalibrates your frequency. When you're grounded, your choices improve. When you're appreciative, you attract others who live in that same spirit. When you're centered, you're harder to manipulate, less likely to be derailed. Gratitude does not just change how you show up, it changes who shows up around you. So here is the invitation. Before your day is hijacked by obligations, own those first fragile seconds. Don't fill them with pressure. Don't fill them with plans. Fill them with presence. Whisper it. Say it aloud. Feel it soften your breath and widen your perspective. I'm grateful to be here. At first, it may feel small, almost too simple, but small does not mean powerless. That phrase is a lever. Pressed daily, it resets your system. It tells your nervous mind, you are not starting from lack. You are starting from wholeness. Gratitude is not passive. It is active. It is how you take command before the world takes command of you. Think of it this way. Every morning you are offered two doorways. One leads into reaction, emails, noise, anxiety. The other leads into resilience, presence, clarity, calm. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the second door. Which one you step through shapes not just your morning, but the entire architecture of your life. So let us begin here, with this breath, with this awareness, with this simple truth. You are alive. That is enough. That is the foundation. That is the first awakening. And from this foundation, everything else will be built. Moving into the second chapter, picture this with me. The sun rises, but instead of feeling new, the day already feels heavy. Not because your body didn't rest, but because your mind never stopped spinning. The same conversation, the same mistake, the same regret playing on loop. Like a broken record echoing through a room you can't leave. You've seen it. Maybe you've lived it. Waking up not refreshed, but burdened, carrying yesterday into today as if it were chained to your back. It's like trying to run a race while dragging a suitcase full of old stones. You can sprint for a moment, but eventually you trip. And then you wonder why peace feels so far away. Here's the truth. Most of us carry too much. The awkward thing we said, the deadline we missed, the wound we can't stop touching. And worse, we don't just carry our own weight, we carry other people's moods, judgments, and expectations too. Their shadows creep into our mornings until we're not even living our own day. But here's where the shift begins. You are not meant to relive yesterday. You are meant to learn from it and then leave it where it belongs. That is the test. Not perfection, but release. The ability to say, yesterday doesn't own me. Say it with weight. Say it like your peace depends on it, because it does. That one sentence doesn't erase the past, but it separates you from it. It draws a boundary between what has happened and what you are choosing now. And that boundary, that invisible line, is freedom. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." Let that sink in. Yesterday may explain your pain, but it does not define your path. The story you tell yourself today, that's what shapes your future. Do you carry shame, or do you carry strength? That choice is yours. Too many people give that choice away. They replay the worst moments of their life as if the homework was never finished. Every night they rehearse the failures, and every morning they wake to the same rehearsal. But life is not meant to be the repetition of your lowest scene. At some point, you must close the book on that chapter and write the next. The Stoics understood this. They knew that the event itself was not the true problem. The problem was how we chained ourselves to it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Maybe yesterday was chaos. Maybe you lost your temper, missed your chance, said the wrong thing. Fine. But the question is, are you going to live there forever? Or are you going to step out, sharpen your lessons, and move forward clearer than before? Think of each morning as a fresh page in a journal. If you keep scribbling yesterday's story across today's page, you never get to write anything new. That's why letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's emotional discipline. It's the courage to say, "I refuse to waste today fighting battles that no longer exist." Most people think strength is grinding harder, proving themselves endlessly, never breaking. But real strength often looks like this: refusing to pick at the same wound, refusing to keep bleeding over things that are already gone. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But examination doesn't mean obsession. It doesn't mean stabbing yourself with the same memory until you collapse. Examination means you observe, you understand, and then you release. Take the lesson, leave the weight. That is the discipline. If this still feels abstract, try this. Every morning before you rise, close your eyes and imagine your regrets, your guilt, your embarrassments as stones in a backpack. Feel the straps on your shoulders. Feel the weight pressing down on your spine. Then visualize taking it off, sliding it down, letting it hit the ground. Notice how your body relaxes, how your breath deepens. That simple act, physical in your imagination, real in your nervous system, tells your body we're safe, we're free, we're starting clean. Aristotle once said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Release can be the same, not a single dramatic gesture, but a habit. A muscle you flex every day, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes to separate your identity from your wounds. You stop being the person who's always behind or always broken. You start being the person who recovers quickly, forgives faster, and chooses peace deliberately. And here's the part most people miss. Letting go is not only for the big scars, it is for the small irritations too. The curt message, the offhand comment, the tone that stung more than it should have. These things pile up like pebbles in your shoes. Small, but enough to make you limp if you never empty them. That is why the discipline must be daily. Not just when life collapses, but every morning. Check in, clear out, begin again. There is a quote often attributed to Plato: "The beginning is the most important part of the work." It is true. If you begin your day carrying the past, then every action, every word, every decision is filtered through residue. But if you begin with presence, with release, then clarity returns. And clarity is power. So stop treating every day as the continuation of your worst memory. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to your growth. Yesterday had its shot. Today is yours. And you owe it to yourself to show up fully, not halfway, not haunted, not on autopilot. Stand in this new morning and declare, yesterday doesn't own me. That's not denial, that's direction. That's the choice to build your future on healing, not on hurt. Let me leave you with this thought. The past is a story you've already read. It cannot be rewritten, only understood. The present is the page still blank, waiting for your pen. And the future, that is the book you're still writing. So drop the weight, release the page you can't change, pick up the one in front of you and write like you mean it. This is where freedom begins, and from here we step into the next truth. From here, let's step into a battlefield most people never even see. Not the battlefield of politics or business or relationships. The battlefield within, the mind. Picture yourself in the early morning. You pour a cup of coffee. For a brief moment, there is calm. The steam rises. The room is still. And then, without warning, the flood begins. Messages, notifications, news headlines. Your thoughts open like too many tabs in a browser you never wanted to click. Regrets, deadlines, fears. Before you know it, you're not thinking anymore. You're being thought. That is modern life. But it's not new. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics warned us. The chaos outside is never as dangerous as the chaos inside. Marcus Aurelius carried this truth with him every day. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world can take almost everything from you, but it cannot touch your power to choose how you respond, unless you give it away. And here's the danger. Most of us give it away before the day even starts. We wake, and instead of claiming our mind, we surrender it. We let news dictate our fear. We let comments dictate our worth. We let urgency dictate our pace. That's why mornings matter. Because before the world makes its move, you have a window, a pause. And what you do in that pause sets the tone for everything that follows. I control my mind, not my inbox, not my boss, not my critics, my mind. That's the ground no one else can invade unless I open the gate. Carl Jung once wrote, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." And isn't that the truth? Most people drift outward all day long, pulled by comparisons, dragged by ego, swallowed by noise. But when you turn inward, even for 60 seconds, you wake. You realize not every emotion is real, not every thought is worth chasing. The mind may spin, but you can remain steady. Let's make this real. Try it tomorrow. Give yourself one quiet minute each morning. That pause is power. When thoughts arrive, and they will, let them pass. Don't grab them, don't judge them, just breathe. That space you create between thought and action, that is where your power hides. It's the difference between being a puppet and being a master. Plato said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself, not the world, not your enemies, yourself." That victory happens here, in your head, when you choose not to be dragged by impulse. Every time you catch yourself spiraling, you face a question. Will I let my mind drag me, or will I direct it? And let's be clear, this isn't about becoming untouchable, sitting on a mountain like a monk. It's about practical control in the middle of a loud world. It's about deciding your mood instead of being hijacked by it. You don't have to answer every call. You don't have to obey every thought. You don't have to let every inconvenience ruin your peace. Peace is not what happens to you. It's how you decide to show up. And choices practiced become habits. Habits repeated become character. Aristotle said it best. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If you practice chaos, you become chaos. If you practice calm, you become calm. Modern science backs this up. Neuroscience tells us the brain is plastic. It reshapes itself around what we focus on. Spend your mornings scrolling, complaining, comparing, and your brain gets better at stress. Spend your mornings anchoring, breathing, choosing, and your brain gets better at calm. You are literally training your nervous system every day. So let's imagine 2 mornings. In one, you wake, reach for your phone, and instantly feed on anxiety. The day owns you before you've even left the bed. In the other, you wake, sit for 1 quiet minute, and claim your mind with a single phrase. I control my mind. Which version of yourself do you think walks into the world stronger? Here's the trap. You will forget. You will slip. There will be days your mind runs wild and you're swept into distraction. That's not failure. That's practice. The Stoics never demanded perfection. They demanded awareness. The goal isn't to never fall. It's to notice sooner when you do, and to rise faster each time. Think of it like training a muscle. The first rep is shaky. The weight feels too heavy, but repetition builds strength. So it is with your mind. Each time you pause before reacting, you grow stronger. Each time you catch a thought before it controls you, you train discipline. That is how mastery is built, not in grand gestures, but in daily reps. Socrates said, "The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." That's what discipline of the mind really is. You don't waste energy fighting every thought, every distraction, every fear. You build something steadier. You create an inner rhythm that can't be shaken by noise. So tomorrow morning, before the emails, before the headlines, before the demands of the world, pause, sit with yourself, breathe, and remind your soul, I control my mind. Say it once, say it twice, say it until your body believes it, because the world will always be loud, but you can be louder, not with noise, but with stillness, not with shouting, but with certainty. That is the shield no one can break. And the truth is, once you taste that kind of control, you never want to go back. You stop being dragged. You stop being ruled. You walk through the chaos untouched because you know the real battle was never out there. It was always in here, and you are winning it, one morning at a time. Entering this chapter, picture the moment when someone walks into a room and changes the air without saying a word. The noise lowers, the tension softens. It isn't charisma that shouts or confidence that demands. It's something quieter, something deeper. Their presence feels safe, grounded, unshaken. You wonder how they do it. The answer isn't wealth or fame. It isn't charm or the performance of self-help tricks. It's something more elemental, something available to every one of us if we dare to practice it. The answer is kindness, real kindness. Not the kind plastered across social feeds with glittering slogans. Not the kind used to manipulate or to win approval. The kind I'm speaking of is forged in silence, tested in fire, and anchored in strength. It is deliberate. It is resilient. It is invincible. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Kindness is invincible if it's sincere, not fawning or pretending." That's the paradox. What looks soft is unbreakable. What looks gentle is untouchable. Because when your kindness is rooted in discipline, not performance, what weapon can the world use against you? Think of those who confuse cruelty with power. They bark, they belittle, they dominate, yet underneath they are fragile. Their harshness is a shield against fear. Stoicism unmasks this illusion. The strongest person is not the one who controls others, but the one who controls themselves. Kindness is self-mastery disguised as grace. It requires you to pause before reacting, to listen before judging, to extend humanity even when anger tempts you otherwise. That is not weakness. That is discipline of the highest form. Carl Jung once observed, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." That line cuts deep, because we all carry shadows, insecurities, fears, wounds that never fully close. When we see the storm in someone else, it's easy to forget they are fighting their version of the same battle we wage within. Kindness bridges that gap. It doesn't mean excusing abuse or ignoring truth. It doesn't mean being passive or avoiding conflict. It means refusing to let someone else's storm pull you under. It means responding with clarity instead of ego, with patience instead of pride. Now imagine this as a morning ritual. You wake and remind yourself, kindness is my superpower. Not in some airy or sentimental tone, but as a declaration of intent. You're not waiting for the perfect mood or the perfect circumstance. You are choosing, you are deciding before the day begins who you will be. And watch how that choice shapes your presence. You speak softer, not because you are afraid to raise your voice, but because you don't need to. You react slower, not because you are indifferent, but because peace matters more than victory in trivial battles. You lead with patience, not because you lack urgency, but because you understand transformation takes time, your growth and theirs. Socrates once said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." That isn't poetry, that's reality. The rude comment, the cold silence, the passive aggression, most of it isn't about you. It's about them, their wounds, their disappointments, their unresolved stories. When you see through that lens, you stop taking things so personally. You see pain hiding under armor, and instead of answering with ego, you answer with steadiness. Let's make this practical. Visualize one kind act you will do today. Just one. Compliment someone who looks weighed down. Pause and truly listen when someone speaks. Text a friend simply to say you thought of them. Small? Yes. But in a world starved of presence, even a drop of kindness ripples wide. That act may be the only good thing someone encounters today. And strangely, it will transform you as much as them, because every act of kindness reinforces your identity as someone who chooses intention over impulse. Plato believed, excellence is not an act, but a habit. Kindness is the same. It is not a costume you wear when it suits you. It is a discipline, a muscle, a habit to be repeated until it becomes instinct. Until it becomes you. And when it becomes you, everything shifts. You stop walking into rooms trying to take. You start walking into rooms ready to give. That is a different kind of power, deeper, more enduring. Yes, people will misunderstand. They may mistake your patience for passivity, your calm for apathy. Let them. Because you are not performing for them. You are aligning with your values. You are shaping the character you intend to carry for the rest of your life, and nothing builds influence that endures. Nothing like consistent kindness, not charm, not intellect, not hustle, kindness. The Stoics were not sentimental. They were warriors of the mind. They faced exile, betrayal, loss, and death itself. Yet they still chose virtue. They still wrote of patience, mercy, and grace. Why? Because to them, kindness was not decoration. It was foundation. It was the anchor of a life well lived. Seneca once reminded his students, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." That is the compass. Not applause, not image, not advantage, just presence. You stop looking for credit. You stop seeking proof. You live your values consistently, quietly, completely. So tomorrow morning, before the world asks you to prove yourself, pause, center, breathe, and remind yourself, kindness is my superpower. Not because you need everyone to like you, but because you refuse to betray your own character. Then walk into the day as someone unafraid to be good. Not fake good, not performative good, strong good. The kind of good that rewrites the energy of a room. The kind of good that leaves a mark. The kind that transforms not only those who meet you, but you yourself. Because in the end, power built on fear collapses. Power built on control corrodes. But power built on kindness endures, and it will outlast you. This is where true presence is born. And from here, we will step into the next truth, the strength to endure what others cannot, and to walk forward, carrying light even in the darkest of places. At this stage, let me ask you something that might sting a little. Have you ever blinked and realized an entire week slipped through your fingers, not in the poetic, life is beautiful way, but in the disorienting, where did it go way? One morning you're sipping coffee, and the next you're drowning under meetings, deadlines, and notifications you don't even remember agreeing to. It feels as if the day ran away without asking permission, leaving you scrambling to catch up. That is modern life for most of us. Fast, loud, relentless. But here's the truth that slices through the noise like a blade. Everything is temporary. The stress, temporary. The pressure, temporary. Even the joy, the victories, the quiet peace you crave, they, too, are passing. And far from making life meaningless, that's exactly what makes it precious. The Stoics carried this truth in their bones. They called it memento mori, remember that you must die, not to depress themselves, but to wake themselves up. Because when you realize nothing is promised, not tomorrow, not even the next hour, you begin to treat the present moment with more reverence. You stop assuming time will always wait for you. Plato once said, "Time is the moving image of eternity." Think about that. An endless stream that we get to touch only in fragments, but most of those fragments slip by unnoticed. Why? Because we're living in yesterday's regret or tomorrow's anxiety, rarely here, rarely now. Presence, then, is not some accidental blessing. It's a discipline, a skill to be trained like muscle or breath. Carl Jung believed that the ability to live in the present moment was a cornerstone of mental health. It makes sense. Our sorrow clings to the past. Our anxiety chases the future. But the present, that's where your feet stand. That's where your lungs expand. That's where power lives. Yet we miss it. We miss the sunlight spilling across the floor. We miss the taste of breakfast swallowed in haste. We miss the way the air feels just before rain. These moments, overlooked, are not trivial. They are everything. So here's the reminder. Say it to yourself each morning with conviction. This moment is all I have. I will enjoy it. Not tomorrow, not later, now. This cup of coffee, this silence before the house wakes, this laugh with a friend when nobody checks their phone. Life isn't waiting for permission. It's happening here, and if you're not present, you're not just losing time, you're losing life. Aristotle spoke of eudaimonia, human flourishing, the good life. He didn't tie it to possessions or distant goals. He tied it to virtue in action, to how you show up each moment, with integrity, with intention, with awareness. Presence doesn't mean abandoning responsibility. It means fully experiencing what's in front of you, even if it's messy. Especially if it's messy. Still, let's be honest. Presence is difficult. It's easier to distract yourself. Easier to keep busy. Easier to always chase what's next, because stillness feels like work. And it is. The Stoics called this inner calm ataraxia, a steady peace that no storm could shake. How did they reach it? By practicing presence daily, by noticing the small things, by slowing down enough to actually taste life. Try this. Next time you brush your teeth, don't rush. Notice the texture, the sound, the rhythm. Next time you step outside, look at the trees moving with the wind. Feel the air on your skin. Simple moments, ignored by most, become gateways back to yourself. And don't mistake this for denial. Life is stressful. The world won't slow down. People will demand. Urgency will press against your time. But presence takes your power back. You stop being ruled by noise. You stop giving urgency more weight than it deserves. You choose clarity instead. Seneca said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." That's it. Not survival, not mere endurance. Enjoyment. And enjoyment doesn't have to roar. Sometimes it whispers in the pause between tasks, in the taste of water when you're thirsty, in the breath that keeps you here without asking anything in return. So pause, even now. Take one deep breath. Feel it expand through your chest. Notice your feet pressing against the ground. Notice what you hear, smell, and touch. For that one moment, you are exactly where life is. Socrates once asked, "How can you wonder that your travels do you no good when you carry yourself around with you?" The message is blunt. If you can't be present where you are, nothing external will satisfy you. Not travel, not success, not escape. You'll carry the same restlessness wherever you go. That is why presence is not optional, it is essential. You want more fulfillment, more connection, more peace. It doesn't come from piling on more. It comes from noticing more. It comes from attention, from choosing to see the gift hiding in plain sight. This moment, yes, even this one, is already slipping away. Not dramatically, but quietly, as it always does. So hold it a little longer. Feel it a little deeper. Repeat this to yourself often. Everything is temporary, so I will enjoy this moment. That mindset doesn't just slow down time, it deepens it. It makes it richer, weightier, more meaningful. And as you practice, you begin to realize what the Stoics already knew. The present moment was never small. It was everything. You just needed to notice. Each morning is a choice. Anchor your mind, release the past, hold the present, walk with clarity, live with courage. The power is already yours.